Execution is more important than concept. So as Bret Hart used to say, the excellence of execution, and that's all what it's about. Now, when most people going about a plan or they start a project, for example, like say if I'm starting on my YouTube channel, right? You know, for one mistake I made was planning on it for too long, about trying to come up with this business plan, right? How am I going to turn the Beastly Sage into a successful YouTube channel? And I just sat down and I typed out documents about, oh, what kind of markets I can hit, what can I talk about, what can be my presentation. And the fact of the matter is, like, I planned so much, but most of it really didn't matter because so much of it changed already. Like, I go back to the old documents, I'm like, this is kind of outdated because I developed new strategies as I progressed. And I couldn't get to that point until I started, right? The biggest thing I learned so far was from starting, that actually doing it, seeing what worked or what didn't. How can I improve? That's what mattered. And this applies to any other aspect of life, right? It's the execution is so much more important than concept itself. Is in the creative sense, where I feel like a lot of other artists were they plan out making an animation or just a drawing, and they think about what they're going to do, or even storytelling, for example. Like they just plan out, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to make this character? What they're going to look like? What's their personality? Go over it over and over again, and it doesn't matter. It's just you're just mentally like just running in circles, just spinning your wheels without going anywhere. What matters is actually executing. Because when you execute, you'll actually see what things actually work and what don't, and you're actually putting feet on the ground. You're actually getting things done, and that's what matters, right? And I think it's storytelling. Like, people just get obsessed about an idea, like their concept of making a story. Like, I just saw Puss in Boots, the new one, like a month ago, and I didn't like Shrek at all. And I saw it, and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing movie. And I just thought, like, even like if even if it's not an interesting concept itself, like just this character from Shrek, the creators were able to take it and make it like an amazing story around it. And what it didn't matter, like the concept, like of the side character from Shrek. What mattered was what they did with it. If you're creative enough, if you're creative, smart, and hardworking enough, you can make almost any idea work. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. You know, on substance and style streams I do, like I go over kind of silly media, and like the concept is silly, but they execute it in amazing ways. They took like this childish show and they turned it into amazing stories. It wasn't about the concept itself, because a lot of times people take amazing pieces of media like that has like Ghostbusters, and they make terrible movies out of it. Right? So basically executed horribly. And this applies to everywhere else in life, right? Where I think it was Tim Allen who just said, like, 90% of life is just showing up. That's true. Where if you can just, like at a job, you just show up on time, ready to work, you're beating a lot of people because they can't do that. So if you show up and execute on a consistent manner, holy cow, like that's what matters. That's why so many YouTubers fail, because they give up. They're not consistent with it. They don't execute properly. All daydreaming about what could I be, right? I want to daydream about the YouTuber I could be instead of actually doing it. Stop dreaming the dream. Start living the dream. And start executing. The concept doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can take any kind of like idea you have for a channel or a show or any kind of project you want to work on. Business, the perfect example of business, where you can have a concept for a business, but you never go about in executing it. It doesn't matter. The greatest book was never written because the person who thought of it, didn't think it was a good idea, or they're just too lazy to make it. And I think this topic really drives me up the wall, because I hate when people just keep on talk and talk about what they're gonna do and not what they're doing. Is in a way, like, it's good to have a decent concept, right? If you have a decent concept for a business, good to start that way. But what matters most is how you develop it. Is when you start working on it, then you can change it, right? It's never stagnant, right? Like my channel, if you look at my first video, it's going to be completely different. My presentation to how it is now. I was a lot more somber. Like my background wasn't as good. My lighting was terrible. The audio, right? And even what I was talking about wasn't terribly interesting. And my energy as well. Like I changed, and I guarantee you, I will change over and over again because that's execution, the excellence of execution, not just always worrying about the concept of something. Develop it over time, and you'll actually get something good instead of just mindlessly thinking and dreaming and talking, discussing about the book I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write the book, but I gotta plan things out. I gotta create the world, the lore, the languages, the races, the characters, and for months and on end or years on end, and they actually never get to writing. And the fact is, with most creative media, like I'll tell you, most of it doesn't matter. It's very difficult to actually start implementing all the things you created. Easier to start simple and then have use let that develop over time, so it's fun developing that, because you're going to want to develop more things as you actually execute. And that's true for everything else. Stop worrying about concept and theorizing. Start doing it. Stop worrying about game and start acting out girls. Right? Stop thinking about, well, what kind of workout should I do? Like, there's this fitness forum I used to go on, and there's this one dude that used to post over and over again, like, should I bulk or cut? Should I bulk or cut? And he was skinny fat. And the obvious answer would be cut, because he has all this fat on him. But that didn't even matter, because him doing anything would have been better than doing nothing. It's sometimes better to make the wrong decision than no decision. That's true in so many aspects in life. So, go out there, start executing, and that's 80% of it. Concept is only 20%, and if you just have a good idea, that's all you need. Don't worry about getting the best idea, because the best ideas are the ones that are turned into something practical to execute. Thanks for watching.